Today I'm talking to Lara Southern. She is a PhD student with the Ozouga Chimpanzee Project in Gabon in Africa. Hi, Dr. Southern. Happy Chimpanzee Day.
Happy Chimpanzee Day. Thank you.
You study chimpanzees in the Loango National Park in Gabon, Africa. How often are you there?
So I actually lived there for on and off for about 5 years. And I've been back in Germany now just for about 1 year, because once we collect all of our data in the field, we have to come back and we have to analyze it. But I'm hoping to go back very soon.
Cool. Chimpanzees are so much like people. They share the same genes and they use tools and language. They hunt and raise families together. They teach and laugh and love one another by kissing, hugging, tickling, and holding hands. What is the funniest thing that ever happened to you studying chimpanzees?
So I think lots of people don't realize just how funny chimpanzees can be, and it was really hard for me to select one moment that was funny. But what I think is really funny is, so as you've maybe seen in movies or documentaries, chimpanzees are very good climbers. They're really super. They're really fast at going up trees and swinging from tree to tree and jumping into next trees. And sometimes, very, very rarely, they miss the branch that they're swinging to, and they have to squabble and kind of grab another branch. And it happens very, very rarely because they're so good at it. But when it does happen, it's really, really funny because they get really shy and almost embarrassed. And they kind of have to show it off as a little bit like macho, like that they didn't fall or that they didn't have a little tumble. And so I always think it's really funny when that happens, or when they trip over something. They don't hurt themselves or anything. They're amazing. They're really, really fast and really, really good at walking in the forest. And we're always following them, and we're always falling over logs and tripping up stuff, and they never trip. And so when they do, it's really fun.
That's really cool. How many chimpanzees do you study, and what is your PhD about?
So I study a group of about 45 chimpanzees, and they can live in really big families. It's a bit different from our human families. They have many brothers and sisters, and then they have their mom and their dad within the group, but they live in these big extended communities. And so our community that we study, they have 45 individuals, but some communities have almost 150 individuals. So it really does, it varies a lot. And I study specifically communication. So I study how the chimpanzee individuals communicate with each other and how they talk to each other, and both using gestures. So the ways in which we say like hello, like waving is a gesture, and both in long distance communication. So they have very specific call types that they use to call across the forest.
Cool. So it's like dolphins.
Kind of, yeah, they have very sophisticated communication systems, just like dolphins. And one of my friends here, she's actually doing a project where she compares dolphins and chimpanzee communication. So there's some interesting stuff there too.
Who is your favorite and why? Or is that like a mom and you're not allowed to have one?
So my favorite chimpanzee is a chimpanzee called Pandy, and he's actually the alpha male of the group. So chimpanzees, you have one main leader, kind of like a boss, or the president, let's say, and he kind of governs all the other chimpanzees, and he's the leader of the group. And he's my favorite. His name is Pandy. And he's super, super big and really funny. And if you go look at our website, I mean, I can send you the links afterwards. There's lots of pictures and videos of him and all the other different chimpanzees if you'd like to have another look.
Cool. Pandy. Does that mean something, or is it just a name?
That one's just a funny name because lots of them were kind of named by the local guides at the project. So some of them have really nice names, which are in different ethnicities in Gabon. We try and keep all of the names of the chimpanzees now that are born now. We try and name them after different objects in the forest, or different animals in the forest, or different meanings that other people have ideas about. But in the old times, so Pandy is now 24 years old. So back then, he was just named as somebody's favorite, kind of somebody like the name Pandy.
Chimpanzees are endangered. There are probably between 172,000 and 300,000 chimpanzees remaining in the wild. Why are their numbers dropping?
So as you said there's a huge range in how many chimpanzees are left in the wild. And this comes down to because chimpanzees are really hard to count because lots of humans don't live in those natural protected areas. And we're now trying to really keep national parks and forestry reserves really safe and protected. And chimpanzees need huge home ranges in order to really thrive and be prosperous as a group. And they need all of that space because they have a really high reliance on different types of fruits and different types of food. And they need also different forest habitat connectivity in order for different populations to merge and twine and for that kind of genetic diversity as well. And so their numbers are declining because all of these things are really threatened, not only by direct human presence, so people needing more land for their homes because we have an expanding human population, but also because of indirect effects such as the effects of a global climate change and the warming climate. So this has an effect on fruiting patterns, and these are likely to get worse over the next couple of years. So it's really important to kind of be aware of what's going on now and how we can work to kind of make any changes in what we're doing currently.
Yeah. How can helping chimpanzees also help fight climate change?
So yeah, that's a really good question. So all of these things that I've talked about a little bit about the threats, they're all interconnected. So just in the same way that chimpanzees rely directly on forests, all humans kind of in the world rely directly on the functioning of those forests. And it's quite easy to see how kind of disconnected we've become from nature. And in the same way as kind of the way we rely on clean water and clean air to breathe. All of these functioning systems are really vital to human well-being. And when we protect chimpanzees living in these kind of natural forested environments, this also has knock-on effects, not only for people living around those areas, but then knock-on effects for kind of these really vital places. So I don't know if you know about the Congo Basin, but it's a big piece. So there's like the Amazon rainforest in South America, and then you've got the Congo Basin rainforest in Africa. It's the big green space when you look on the map of Africa. And people have called it kind of the lungs of the world, because we need these really functioning rainforests to filter all of the kind of dirty air and the dirty water and provide us with clean new oxygen to breathe. And so if we protect these natural areas, we're actually doing a favor, not only in protecting chimpanzees, but protecting our future.
What can kids do to help chimpanzees?
So you're a very good example. You're already kind of doing it. You're reaching out and you're talking to people, talking to scientists, getting involved in different types of projects. So I work for a project called Ozouga, as we talked about before, and we're just one chimpanzee project, but there's many chimpanzee projects just like us. And getting to know different types of individuals, getting to know what chimpanzees are really like, getting to know them and their little quirks, having maybe a favorite chimpanzee and seeing how people can, it's not only about donations, but it's also firstly about awareness and about how we learn about chimpanzees in school, about how we learn about where they're currently living, what threats are there to chimpanzee populations. So you're already doing the first step. And then the next step is kind of really to talk to everybody you know about what you kind of found out, why you think these are important creatures, and why they deserve to kind of be safe and protected in their natural environments.
Yeah. What do you wish more people knew about chimpanzees?
I wish that they knew them, they recognized them better as individuals. So just in the same way that you and me are very different, We also have similarities, and chimpanzees are just like this. So each chimpanzee has their very own personality. They have their friends, they have their family members, and they live in these really complex, diverse societies, very similar to the way in which we do. So they have day-to-day interactions, and they go about their lives. They have jokes, and they play, and they have fights and arguments. And I think people don't realize just how intelligent and caring they are. And I wish more people got to know them as individuals.
Yeah. Thank you for answering my questions and for joining us today. Click the link below to donate to the Ozouga Chimpanzee Project. And remember, together kids can save the world. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.